Welcome to A Journey into Yoga. I'm Susan Rubenstein. It is so great to be back with all of you. I know it's been a while since I've done a show, something current, but we all know the journey that we've been on, but we're here now, and that's what's important. So in the meantime, I hope you've been well. I hope you've been taking care of yourself. I know you've still had access to some of the shows that I've done over the course of the last 8-9 years. So hopefully you've been taking care of yourself. That's really the important thing, and taking care of each other. So as we come together today to practice yoga, we're just going to call this yoga and you, right? So that's really what yoga is about. It's about you. It's about taking care of you. It's about moving your body in an expressive way that feels inviting, feels nourishing. There's a time and a place to push the body, to get the heart rate up, to get that sweat on. And then there's that time to create the balance. So one of my philosophies when I work with clients and I teach my students is to have them just assess their bodies and to think about what areas of their body are weak, right? So maybe that's an area that you need to put a little bit more strength into. And what areas are tight. So we want to stretch what's tight and strengthen what's weak. So we can find that common denominator in making ourselves healthy from the inside out. So when it comes to yoga, just some basics. You use a yoga mat, but you want to be on a surface that you're not going to slip or slide. You can work in your shoes, but preferably bare feet is a good option. Sometimes if we just stay in our socks, we get our feet heat up and we can slide a little bit. So you want to make sure you're in a safe space. Wear something comfortable that you're able to move in. You don't feel limited. Have some water, right? Because we might get thirsty and we wanted to stay ahead of that thirst. And then just come with a clean slate. Maybe you want to do part of this work. Maybe you want to do the whole thing. Maybe you want to take some of it and add it to something else that you already had planned on doing this morning. All right? So let's come together and let's enjoy taking care of yourself. Remember, this is yoga and you. So we'll start with what we call mountain pose. Feet underneath those hips, belly is in. Let's just take our arms and rotate the palms all the way out. And then just take a nice slow deep breath in. So let's awaken the diaphragm. The diaphragm is a muscle. The lungs are that organ. So we empty the breath out of the lungs. Let's do that again. Deep breath in. And exhale. So as we're standing in mountain, it helps us to feel grounded. It's a wonderful pose when our mind maybe is a little bit too active and racing around. And the breath has a wonderful way of creating a sense of calm. So I always like to start my practices with breath work. Maybe you're not raising the arms as high. It's really up to you. Let's do one more of these. And then at the top, the hands are going to meet. Good. And so we're going to draw those hands right in front of the heart. Now, let's open that breath a little bit more. Inhale, expand. Notice the elbows go out to the side. And then exhale. So as I'm doing this, I want to keep that heart lifted. Draw the shoulder blades in and down the back. Standing nice and tall. I don't want to pop the rib cage out, but I want to keep that heart lifted. Oh, let's do a few more of those. Good. Now, take those arms all the way out, nice and big. Inhale. Now, exhale. Can we take a side bend here? Just look down. And then inhale, open those arms to a T, set the shoulders. Go to the other side as you exhale. Inhale again, opening up. Exhaling. Inhale, drop those shoulders, and then exhale. Let's do this a couple more times. Deep breath in, and then exhale. Inhale again, and then exhale. Good. And then come all the way up. Take a nice deep breath in, and then drop those arms down and make some big circles right out in front of you. Oh, it feels so good to move. And then let's go in reverse. Nice and big. Big, deep circles. Couple more. Good. And then opening up. Let's take a little stretch to our neck. So can we climb the fingertips slightly above the ear and tilt to the side? Slightly drop the chin down towards the chest. Breathing in. Slowly breathing out. And then use your fingers to bring the head up. Take the shoulders up, around, and down again. Melting all that tension away. Ah, good. Let's go around to the other side. Fingertips climb above the ear. We lean to the side. Nice deep connection to our breathing. Couple more. And then use your fingertips to bring that head up through center. Reach your arms all the way out now. And then let's just see about folding forward. So slight bend in the knees. I want you to reach down. Now imagine you're picking up a big pot, right? It's that time of year we're going to start to plant again. So we've got one of our beautiful terracotta pots outside. We're going to reach for the sides of the pot and lift that pot up. So we're using our legs, reaching up. And then let's bend our knees and put that pot back down. So we want to be careful of our neck, our spine. Let's reach for that pot again. Use your legs to come up. So maybe you're not going to bring your head down below your heart today. So this will be perfect for you. Bend your knees, using a lot of work in the seat. Come all the way up. Good. Now stand tall. Let's hold that pot out in front of us and just turn. So I'm using the part of the spine that twists. They call this the thoracic spine. Just think about that midsection. Good. Couple more. Last one. Good. And then roll those shoulders out. All right. So now let's take a half salutation, as we call it. So hands together. Inhale, arms up. Big stretch. Swan dive forward. Exhale, empty the breath. Drop all the way over, all the way down. Now maybe you keep your hands to your upper thighs. Your shins are to the floor like I am. Chin comes into the chest. Now I'm going to inhale, come halfway up, but you might slide your hands to your upper thighs to do that, leading with your heart and head. Drop back down. With that soft bend in the knees, scoop forward, reach all the way up, inhaling. Exhale, hands in. Circle the arms out, inhale. So now you know what's working for you, so go with it. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale, reaching out to come all the way up. Hands in. Inhaling. Exhale, forward fold, tipping from the hip, finding yourself melting into the earth. Good. Halfway up. All the way down. Scooping forward, reaching all the way up. And then take the hands into the heart. Now let's cross one leg over the other. Nice hip stretch here. So your arms drop to the side. Take that side bend, glancing gently down. Maybe it feels good to look out or turn your head up. What feels good on your neck? So your belly is in. We're opening up this whole side here. Good. Now come up. Take hold of the wrist of the arm that was leaning down by your side, by your hip, and then stretch over this way. Come up through center, and then keep the cross. You might need to uncross your legs for this. Come down. Now my arms are going out wide. I'm in what we call potted palm, chin into the chest. Just breathing in and breathing out, squeezing the thighs together. Nice release for those hips. And then start to sweep the hands into the heart, lift the heart space up. And then release. Before we get to the other side, let's just lift the knees out in front, gently tapping underneath. Maybe you want to just tap the top of your thigh. Good. Keep this going. 4 more. 2 and 1. Good. Feet come in. Let's take a nice deep breath in. Reach all the way up. Let's take that swan dive again. Now inhale. Come halfway up. Let your wings extend out and then drop back down. Let's do that 2 more times. Now bend your knees if there's any tension in your back. And then come all the way up. Reach up. Take hold of the opposite elbow. And this feels so good because it reminds us to take that deep, deep belly breath. It actually helps to create a sense of calm, cooling our adrenal glands. Just breathing in, breathing out, pressing down through our big toe mounds. And then letting your arms just filter away, all the way away, and all the way down. Good. Let's take that other side. So we cross over. And then take the side stretch. Oh, love this for the hips. Again, look wherever you want to. What's feeling good on your neck? And then reach up. Find the wrist and pour to the side. And then up through center. And now we get to take it over and down. So maybe you're just going to use a countertop to reach out on, right? Maybe it's okay to come down. What's working for you today? And then roll up slowly, one vertebra at a time. Oh, that felt so good. Take a nice big stretch and walk it in. All right, so now let's take that stance out nice and wide. We're going to come right into Warrior Two, a wonderful way to open up spine and pelvis. So spin one foot out, turn the other foot in. So you've got that front foot turned out. When we bend the knee, we don't want it passing the toe, so it tracks between second and third toe. Back foot's angled in about 15 degrees. Ears, shoulders, and hips are square. Arms stretch out to a T. Now we're going to add a little bit of flow here. So we're going to straighten the leg that's bent, reach up, draw the hands in front of the heart, and then look out through your hand that hovers over that bent thigh. And then we straighten and repeat. Inhale. And then exhale. Inhaling again. Exhale. So remember, when you're straightening that leg, you're lifting the thigh bone up to the hip socket, finding your way back out. 2 more. We've got our last one coming up. Good. And now stay open. Open the palms and just tilt a little bit towards the straight leg. Your head, again, can look wherever it feels good to turn. But I'm opening the arms and dropping them back. I'm not popping my chest and ribs out. I'm expanding space so that when I take my 3-part breath, which is from inhale belly up to ribs to chest, I'm not pushing my chest out first. It's the last thing to open. And then when we exhale, we relax the chest, we relax the ribs, we relax the belly. Now come up. Let's take some big circles here. Good. Now, coming into side angle, we're going to take supported side angle. So use that density, the strength of your thigh to support that arm so you're spinning your ribs. Arm can be here, behind, maybe take it overhead. Maybe this bottom arm, you want to reach out for a little bit more strength as you spin those ribs, right? What's feeling good for you today? And then sweep back into warrior. Come up. Now, a little bit of fun. I'm going to spin all the way around. Watch. Spin around that back foot. Step my hands to the mat. Step back into plank. Now, we can always put our knees down. And then go right into a downward facing dog, if that's what you use in your practice. If not, I'd prefer you just to stay in table. Maybe you want to play around with plank, knees to the mat, flatten your feet, extended child's pose. And then you venture forward so that your armpits are over those wrists. Spread your fingers, tuck your toes, lift your knees, find your downward facing dog. That's it. Let's do that again. Forward. Knees down. Flat feet. Stretch all the way back. Come back up again. Tuck the toes. Lift the knees. Push all the way back. We're going to do this one more time. Come forward. Abs in. Knees down. Flatten the feet. Stretch. Come back, lift, and your downward facing dog. Maybe we're pedaling the heels here, right? That might feel really good. We Call this walking the dog. So feel that inverted V in your body. And then let's start to walk the hands and the feet together. Really relax now. Bend your knees. Sway and ragdoll. Just very loose and easy. And then we're going to roll up. One more side to go. All right. Shake that out. Let's take it out nice and wide. Spin your toes out. Your knee in. Find your warrior two. Drop those shoulders down. Now this time as we straighten the leg, I want you to take those arms out in front of you and then make two soft fists, thumbs on top, pull, and then open back to warrior two. So inhale and then exhale. Feels so good just to do a little bit of yoga flow. Good. Couple more. One more. Excellent. And then just take that tilt. Again, look to wherever it feels good. Try not to push that rib cage out, but make that abdominal space nice and open, right where the navel is. Let the breath move. And then tumble right onto your thigh. Place your arm wherever you're most comfortable, maybe scooping out. What's feeling good to you right now? And then open, come back up. And we're going to spin right into that downward facing dog again. So get there any way that you feel comfortable. Step back into that downward facing dog. Good. And then again, we come forward into plank. Right into downward facing dog. Again, forward. And back. Couple more times. Oh, it feels so good to stretch the hips out. Feeling grounded. Now, come right into plank with me. Hold, hold, hold. Maybe you need to put your knees down. That's not considered cheating at all. Now, once those knees come down, though, we're going to slide right onto our belly, and we are going to come right into Sphinx. Sphinx, one of those safest back bends that just feels good to us. So we got our elbows right underneath our shoulders, our hands open in a five-pointed star, and let's scoop the belly muscles in. Love this pose. So I can feel the movement in my diaphragm, right? That muscle is working. A gentle back bend. Maybe I want to turn my head one side and then over to the other. And then back through center. Maybe I want to just lift the chin up and look up, let my eyes blink a couple of times, and then look slowly center and then down. Move my eyes again, maybe side to side. Good. And then let's just start to make a pillow with those forearms. Rest your forehead, bend your knees, sway your feet side to side. So once those legs drop down, remind yourself that maybe Sphinx is the perfect pose for you. Otherwise, join me. Take your hands alongside your chest. Now, shoulder blades are in. I'm going to have you lift your heart and your head, lift your hands a few inches off the floor. So like you're just trying to pull them off the floor a couple inches, squeeze your back muscles. And if that feels okay and you want to add your legs, lift your feet, your knees, your thighs. Feel that deep, deep belly breath. So your elbows are behind you, your shoulder blades are in, your collarbones are broad. And then let's come down, make that pillow again, or even make two fists and rest your forehead as you sway your feet. Good. And then let your legs slide out. Now, take your arms by your side. Couple options here. So as we start to lift the heart and the head, we can keep the arms to our side, but lift them up, lift the legs. We can take our hands together to a soft fist and then roll the shoulder blades in, down the spine. Really peel that heart space up and lift the legs. So do what works for you. And just let that breath come in and go out. Spread your toes. Yeah, nice active energy in your feet. Whew. Good. And then take that down. Now, carefully press yourself up into table. And then alternate opposite arm and opposite leg, keeping the spine neutral. So stretching the extensors of the spine here. Reaching through your fingertips and your toes. 8 more. You've only got 4 more left. Last 2 coming your way. And your finisher. Good. All right. Let's have a seat. Woo. Swing the legs out. Yeah. So now we're coming into what we call staff pose. So suggestions, if you're really tight in your low back or your hips, sit on a pillow, right? Maybe you have a bolster. Take the sits bones, which are right at the base of your buttocks, have them to the edge of the pillow or your bolster. Bend your knees if that works as well. Otherwise, I'm going to have my legs straight. Arms are going to be out. I'm going to rotate as I'm opening. I'm leaning back and just tapping behind and then sweeping that hand to come up. Maybe you're not rotating back as far. And again, maybe it feels better for you to keep your knees bent and do this. It feels so good to move the spine. Good. And then come up. Now, we're going to bend the knee, slide the hand behind, and go right into a twist. So this is always good. Elbow goes to the outside of the knee. We're opening the outside of the hip. That leg that's long, the foot is flexed. Shoulders are down and propped up. Always feels good to do this one as well. We say there are so many shapes inside of shapes when it comes to yoga, when it comes to your practice. Good. Now come around. This knee drops out. So maybe you want to scooch a pillow or a block underneath that knee or the hip. Now we turn the ribs a little bit because now we have this extended leg. Maybe you brought along a strap or a towel, right? Maybe that's what you need for this one. Soften the shoulders. Try not to let the head collapse. Bend your elbows just a little bit out to the side. Breathing in, breathing out. Just let that breath come in. And let the breath go out. Good. Now start to come up. We're going to bring the knee in. Now this time, it's about your IT band. Slide your hand over. Stretch that leg out so it's hovering over the bottom leg. Use your fingers to open and then extend that arm back. Now you can look behind you. If you're more comfortable looking out, turning your head this way. Again, think about what's working for you. Can we sit up a little bit taller? So that IT band right here, the outside of that hip. So from the hip down to the outside of the knee. Sometimes it gets tight. This is a great stretch. And then take the leg center. Maybe you're putting a strap to the bottom of your foot here. It doesn't have to be perfectly straight. A bent knee is totally fine. Give yourself a break. And then let that leg come down. I'm going to do some windshield wipers. So knees bent. Sometimes I like to include my arms, a little stretch. Just wrapping it around. Good. And when you are finished, let's get that other side. All right, so now you kind of get to see it from a different angle. So adjust the sits bones, legs out, stretch your arms up. Good. Now bring your hands into your heart and let's just lean that elbow. I've dropped back on an incline again. Maybe I want to be here. Maybe I want to be up higher. Make sure you're not rounding your shoulders. 8, 7, 6. Oh, it feels so good. It's like wringing out my spine like a wet dish rag. Woo! And finished. Come up. Good. All right. You ready? Navel into spine. Let's take this leg in. Take the elbow to the outside of the knee. So now you can see we're stretching the back of the shoulder. It feels so good. Yoga sometimes is just exactly what I need. Standing alone or just complementing it on to something else that I'm doing, right? as that weather starts to get nicer and we spend more and more time outside, sometimes we just need to remember to include some stretches to make us feel good so we can move through our days and not feel stiff and congested. All right, open heart, and let's journey down. Remember, we're not pulling and tugging and forcing. Be kind, be compassionate to yourself. The voice that you use for yourself, think about that. Is it a kind voice? Use the voice that you would use for somebody that you care about, right? So you whisper kind words to them, you share kind words of encouragement to them. So do the same thing for yourself. Good, let's come up. Finally, get that IT band. Another one of my favorites. So many good poses. And then let's take it around. Don't force, just find space. Feels good. All right. A few more windshield wipers. Maybe this time, if your knees are going to feel okay, press the pelvis forward and arch. A little stretch here. Sometimes that just feels really good to do. All right, so let's now just come around and to have a seat as we start to move towards the end of our practice. We'll cross the ankles, draw the sits bones into the earth, hands to the knees. Just take some slow circles. Just take the stem of the spine and swirl it around in the pelvic bowl. So hopefully you feel good, right? Taking care of you from the inside out. And then let's come through center. Open the arms, finishing with a shoulder stretch. So one arm underneath the other, the arms vine. Shoulders drop down as we're pressing out into those forearms. We lift up through heart space. And then slowly open. Take the other side. So maybe you want to take this practice and spend a little time relaxing in what we call Savasana. Maybe as we come to the end of our journey together, you want to continue your journey. Maybe there's some poses you still want to spend time with. Maybe you just want to put your legs up the wall and then open. So let's just take the hands to our heart space. The intention was set to be here and to take care of yourself, and you've done that. So now just take a moment to set a new intention for the new journey that lies ahead. Always remember that 3-part breath can do so much for you at any given time. But for now, I just want to thank each and every one of you for being here, for being present. And it's been my pleasure. Again, I'm Susan Rubenstein, and this has been our journey into yoga and you. So thank you, everyone. Namaste.
Funding for Simsbury Community Television is provided in part by contributions from viewers like you. Thank you.